All right, welcome back. We're working on Gem Wars. We're continuing to add in our single player campaign maps. I'm just checking to make sure that these splines are done, and then we're going to move on to the next map. I'm just making these things a little more accurate as well as elongating the edges. Something like that. Bring that one up a little bit. We'll extend that down. Drag this one through and then pull up. I think that'll work. And then our final one is down here. And we kind of like it just like that. Perfect. Okay. So we can show what we've done, which is that here we just have it simple set. So if we said we wanted to do the castle, and we run it, you can see it's revealing them over here. So if we did, for example, gate. Hey Chuck, how are you doing, man? Welcome back. It's good to have you with us. How goes it today? You can see we have it appearing there. So that's done. So I think we're pretty happy with this map, and we're ready to move on to the next one. Okay, so to do that, what we're going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and then I want to unpack it. And then we can remove map home, and I can call this map desert. Okay. And so for this, we need to create the assets for it. So underneath maps here, we're going to make a new folder for map desert. And the way I'm going to do this is in Illustrator, one thing I really wanted to do was add grass to this, but we could do that later. Okay. In Illustrator over here, let me duplicate this. What is happening here? Put this where it needs to go, and then we'll put it as the background. Okay. So I want to make some modifications to this. We could use footsteps for this, but we may just use these. If I looked at this, I could draw a new path here. This kind of goes like that. And then I can give it a brush of this. Okay, so that is a road. Let me think about this for a second. let's go do this one for, no, this is the first one. So we want to do this. I wouldn't mind having them swing around the back side. Well, we could leave that. And then on this one, where's my path? I want to take another stroke here. Oops. Actually, I kind of like that too. But let's go ahead and add another line here that goes out to here. Just looking for the path. Wonder if I can just join these two. Edit, path, join. I don't want that because it's got this outer edge. Actually, they both did. So let me go back here. And then on this path, I can set the brush to be something like that. Now I can take this path here, drag it in. Something like that, and then this. But do I want it to go up here? That's the question. I wouldn't mind, because you're not going to have that choice, but I might as well allow the art to do that. So we could just add it in here. Okay, let's do a join on that. And then we'll set the brush to be like this one. Now, can I set the scale on this? So that did change the size, but it didn't change the how frequently they're there. So we wanted to do like 10 to 45. We only want to allow 45 spacing between them. The scatter will drop to like 65. And we'll see what that looks like. And it's not terrible. If I look at that brush again, let's go ahead and increase the size just a little bit, and then their spacing to be 35 and their scatter to be 45. It's definitely looking more like a road, but I still think it's this one. Let's go ahead and kill some of these points over here. So I could do it like that, and then we could add another point in here. And then if I look at this path, see it's doubled up. Maybe I can just do something like this. Drag these out a little bit. And then I can move that graphic this one here, plus the sign, plus this little cactus. Let's all group those together. And then we can move our path here below. You see we got an issue here, so I'll bend it out a little bit more. Good. That's looking a little better. Let's move this one just a little bit. That's good. I think that works for me. We're going to move this guy here up so we have a boss. Same thing here. We're going to make us go south, all up below that. So I'm going to move this one up a little bit here and move our brush out like that. These camel guys, we're going to get rid of this path here. This guy, we'll put him here. These camels we'll put down over here. Move the cactus off to the road there. we want to have this gap here. Now, I probably want to move this corner. So let me go ahead and delete that point. Nope. Let me add a new point right there. And then I'm going to delete this point. We're going to bring these two little pieces of whatever you want to call them, parched earth, and we're going to reflect them. And we'll group all that. Okay. I want to move this a little bit in. And then I want to move this group over into here. Like that. And so now we have encounters, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 encounters. I could have them do things with the other elements, but I think this is fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and start exporting our layers. What I want to do is, let's get my groupings here. So this one is grouped with this one. Mountains, we've got, those are just 4 of them put together. We can recreate that. We've got our path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my artboard here. This is 31. And I should be able to do like an export. How do I do this? Well, let's just do it manually. So we'll create a new sublayer in here, and I'm going to call this Objects. And that's all of these. This one here is the border. This is a second path, so there's 2 disjoint paths now. That's our background for the paper. So I'm going to turn off all my objects, and I'm going to turn off my paths. And I'm going to turn off the border. So this one we're going to call the background. So I'm going to export to my new map desert layers. This is 31, and we're going to say this is background. We'll do the paths in a minute. The next one we want to get is foreground. So I need 2 instances of this. This is the first one. We're going to say this is foreground all. And then I'm going to want to have another one of these, which doesn't have these objects. And I can get rid of that one. We want the mountain. I can get rid of the cactuses, the camels, the skull. We don't ever walk close enough to these, but I'm going to get rid of that one and that one. And I'm going to export this as a foreground baked. Okay, I need to go back and redo that. Add all of these objects back. We're going to export this one again here, because I didn't add the transparency on that. The Fallen Hope says, I like that art style. Thanks. No worries, man. How are you? It's good to hear from you. How are you doing today? Now I need to export the individual objects, right? Been all right. Had a rough go at sleeping. I'm sorry to hear that. That's never fun. Insomnia is kind of one of the worst. We're going to open this. And inside of the desert, we have these. And I can go ahead and just add an artboard around them. That's artboard 3. Export this as objects, and then the last one is these paths. So the first path that we know is this one. So I'm going to export that. And I'm going to call this Trail 1. Actually, That's not right. Trail 1 only goes up till here. So I'm going to duplicate this. Do a paste in front. I knew it was all effed up. Okay. So I wanted to take this path, do a paste in front. I'm going to delete some points off of it. This one and this one. Now that changes the pattern, so that's not going to work. So we'll get rid of that path. Instead, we'll leave that trail as 1. And then the second set of trails, we'll just have that. And then we'll export this one. Okay. So that's done. So now what I can do is open this up in Photoshop. We're going to reassemble it real quick. So that's the background. This is our foreground. We have our objects and the maps. So in terms of the background, I can trim it. We can look at the size. Set it to 72. And per my other one, $320 by $240. Pardon me. What is going on with this? When I look back here at the desert, we're going to re-export that. Because it didn't do it transparently. There it is. Now I'll open this up. We can trim everything. We can take our foreground all. It's interesting, it's really close, but it's not perfect. That's fine, actually. Let's leave it like that. We'll take our foreground and paste that on. See, that works okay. We'll bring in the trails. Just do it all in one. Perfect. And I think we have enough to go ahead and start constructing it. So let's take this and separate these into individual objects. Call this signpost. Okay, this is mountain 1. This is mountain 2. This is our crevasse. This is mountain 3. This is crap. This is called Canyon 1. We'll call this one Canyon 2. This here is our dragon bones. This one here is, I guess we'll separate these. So I'll call this cactus. This one will be a fruit. This is a skull. And the last one is these two, which we will call camels. And we can close Photoshop because we are done. We now have enough layers over here that we can bring them all into desert. Trails are not done, but we'll finish those in a little bit. Let all that import. Okay, all of these that we brought in here are a 72. The pivot is at the bottom. We want no compression. And then I should be able to do something where I can create a new preset. Just another second here. Okay. Now I can put this here in my resources, and then I can say that this is my texture importer.preset. And now I can apply that as a default. We can fix the naming here because I don't know what happened there. Come on. It says that file is 12.1 megs. So did this one not get resized? So this one, we're going to change the size here to be 72, 3200, and then we're going to trim it to be 2400. Same thing here. 72, 3200. Trim the canvas size to be 2400. Now, if I look at the background, is that the same that I have here? No, I baked it into the foreground. other case, we can just pull this out, this background out. I'll worry about that in a little bit. But so here on Map Desert, where I look at my map, the first thing that I want to do is get rid of these splines. And my background image, we're going to change that to background. And multiply. We need to make a new render target here, which is called I don't think I need a new render target. I think I can use the same render target. Our foreground, that one is now called Foreground Baked. If I look at this, the issue again is the same thing. We need to change the size to be 3200. And then we want to do a trim off the bottom right pixel. All the way up to the top up here, we're going to get rid of this chunk. We only want to get rid of 1 pixel off the bottom. And then we will do a trim. Missed some stuff on the top. We'll trim it again here on the top left. What am I missing? Okay, so there we go. So now I can do my size. It needs to be well, the size is not going to work like that. So let me go back. We'll start up here. That's good. Back up at the top. Now we're going to cut this bit out. And then we're going to cut this bit out. Just go all the way back across here real quick. And we will cut that out. Trim off the top left. And then this 1 pixel off the bottom. We can just do that by doing a canvas, moving it up by 6400. Now I can resize it. Whoa. To be 3200 by 2400 exactly. Save it. And for this one, the pivot is in the center. So there it is. We can turn off all these things. Turn these off as well. On this one, this is only temporary, but we still need to trim it. That was very odd. And then going down as well. And then we're going to trim it. Okay, it wants me to cut the bottom off. That's fine. Okay, we're going to cut that, trim it off the bottom right pixel, change my size to be 72, 3200, and save it. And then, so the reason I'm doing this is that now on my canvas background, I can use this non-baked version, which would show me where everything goes. So now what we need to do is I need to create some materials. So we're going to make a new one called Map Desert. And I'm going to say new material called Map Render Target Material Map Desert Initial. And we're going to set that one to be a unlit transparent cutout using render target texture. We're going to duplicate it, and I'm going to call this one Trail 1. Now when I look at these trails, these things are default with read-write enabled. So this first one, I'm going to name this Trail 0, and we're going to change that name. And I want this to go up to that one. And we're going to use the gradient tool and paint everything white behind it. Again, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Trails 0, 1. We're going to say this is called Trails 2. This is Trails 1. And we're going to open this one again. This time, it's like right here. Okay. And we need to fill the background with white. We're going to save this as Trails 3. This one will be Trails 4. And this one will be Trails 5. We're going to save this as Trails 3. Trails 2. One. This is 2. So 2, I was going to cut it out right there. It's right here. Okay. That's Trails 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5. We'll make sure all of these are read-write enabled. They are, and it's only singular. Okay, back over on the scene view. On my textures now, we have initial 1, 2, 3, 4. How many did I have? 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 is this one. 2 is this one. 3 is this one. 4, that one. And then 5 is that. So on my foreground, I can use Trails 5. On my background, I can use Trails 5. Now, I need to start replacing those objects. So the first thing that's funny is if I look here at my maps under prefabs, map render target and player should both be a prefab. Okay, and the map. Now we need to start adding these objects. So for the ship one, I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to call this a camels. We'll focus that. Bring that up here. We're going to say sprite. We're going to point it to these camels. They have a position and a size. Move them into position. Like that. And then I would take on my foreground layer here. And we're going to scrap out my camels. Like that. I've been going for how long, guys? 5 hours today? I'm tired. But I'll be back tomorrow morning. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in our Discord, discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I also put all these videos up at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. In the meantime, I'm going to finish this desert map. We also have a dark map and then the world map. And then we need to wire everything together into the game, which is going to be controlled through the back end. So we still need to write those structures. So thanks again for staying with me, guys. And have a great rest of your afternoon. Bye.